Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing well tonight. If you could do the usual thing, which is just let me know, can you see me? Can you hear me? Does everything look and sound okay? That would be absolutely phenomenal. Then we'll do a couple of welcomes, and then I'm going to welcome tonight's guest. Now, as always, be sure that if you've got any questions, which I'm sure you will have, you put hashtag Q in the chat, because that means I can quickly and easily filter out those questions and we can see exactly what you're asking. So that's hashtag Q for any questions. So if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. So I say, if you could let me know, everything sound okay? Does it look, sound, everything else okay? Okay, so we've got a couple of all goods. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, everybody else. So let's do a couple of quick good evenings. As always, if you are new to the live stream, put hashtag new in. If you've been here before, put hashtag old in, and I'll give you a quick welcome. Okay, so who do we have in tonight? Quite a lot of people already popping in, which is fantastic to see. So good to see you, David McCann. Always a pleasure to have you in. Thanks for joining in. Volker, good to see you as well. Christian, we've got Max, Michael, Tees, Colsinger. Hope I'm saying this right. Antonio, where's my LTD? We'll talk about lifetime deals later. Calm down. I know you get excited with these things, so chill out. Michael, good to see you in. Els, always a pleasure. Bruno Bros. Carl, thank you very much for joining in tonight and taking control of the chat. It's always a pleasure when you do that. So thanks very much for taking the time out of your day. Okay, a couple more welcomes. Umir, Balram. We've got Simage, Marius, Antony. Good to see you in tonight. Umir, I hope I said that right. Christian, Emmanuel. Wow, good to see everybody. And Scott, Tees, Andrew. You had a bit of telling off, I understand, Andrew, so be a good boy tonight. Christian, I think I said you already. Joe, Thomas. Wow, thank you very much for joining in today. And Mohammed, good to see you as well. Okay, so I'm going to quickly start off by introducing tonight's guest, which I'm sure you already know. That's why you're already here, so that's cool. So I'm pleased to announce that I've got Louis. I do have to get that right. I do apologize. There's just too many people in the WordPress community with the same spelling. So Louis, I do apologize. Louis from Cwicly is joining me tonight, and thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to get involved in the live stream. That's absolutely fantastic. So for anybody that doesn't know Louis, if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you do, and how they can find out a bit more about yourself and what you offer, that would be fantastic. So over to you.
Hi there, Paul. I'm really happy to be here, and thanks for having me. You've really been a great support right from the start, and, well, we need more people like you out there. So, I'm Louis Alexandre Désiré, founder and CEO of Cwicly. I'm currently in southern Spain, and Cwicly is based in Paris. Now, my background is music. I graduated as a musicologist at the Sorbonne. In fact, I like to think that music, coding, and rocket science play to the same tune. I've always used WordPress for my sites and, like others, started developing thanks to WordPress to get the most out of it. So Cwicly is a professional block toolkit that integrates directly with the new WordPress editor. And I think the advantage of Cwicly is to unleash the mostly untapped power that WordPress now delivers by default in the core. That is full site editing, which is now available on every installation of WordPress. And the thing is, when you look at it, WordPress is about to make most page builders obsolete. And Cwicly plans to stay ahead of the game. So Cwicly comes with a wide array of building blocks, some powerful conditional logic and dynamic data handling, the recently released filtering capabilities that really do put Cwicly apart, global classes and style sheets. And also with the Cwicly role editor, you'll be able to either hide or show whatever block features or Cwicly features come in the editor and change the Gutenberg experience if you like. Finally, I'd like to thank the Cwicly community and all of you tonight. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your ongoing support and incredible suggestions. I can't even imagine where Cwicly will be in the next 6 months with all the feedback and ideas we're getting on a daily basis. So thank you once again. Now, Just a last note, and I'll stop talking for a bit. Please don't hesitate to check out our website at cwicly.com, our forum at discourse.cwicly.com, where the community comes together and shares their bugs, ideas, suggestions, and everything. But also don't hesitate, if you haven't got Cwicly yet, to try out our sandbox, where you can try it out for free. It's available from the website, and with Insta WP, you have 4 hours, playing around and seeing how Cwicly works out for you. So please don't hesitate to do that. The last thing is finally to mark this great opportunity that Paul has given us at Cwicly. We're giving away 2 base plan licenses for life tonight. So you can enter by following the link in the chat. I think it will have been posted. It will be asking you for your email, so there might be a follow-up on that, but that's it, your email. And then in the next 45 minutes, we will pick 2 winners and announce them, and we'll get to you and give you your 2, one each, base licenses for a lifetime. I think I've covered about everything to start with, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. First of all, let me say thank you very much for graciously providing those 2 licenses tonight to give 2 happy people lifetime license and access to Cwicly. So make sure check out the comment section to make sure, or the chat section. The links will be posted there throughout the live stream. That'll be monitored, and like I say, throughout the live stream, then at the end of it, we're going to be giving those 2 licenses away. So make sure you are in it to win it. Okay, so first of all, a couple of things I want to sort of ask you. First, we're going to start with some nice straightforward questions, and then we'll get into some more slightly complex ones maybe. And like I say, anybody that's got any questions tonight for Louis, make sure you just put #Q in the chat so I can quickly and easily find out what you're asking. Okay, so let me quickly ask you, why did you take the approach that you did with Cwicly in comparison to like Cadence, for example, or Stackable and the new Spectra, where you can see they're obviously trying to target the page builder-esque market, where they've got pre-built blocks that complement the sort of container elements, your flexbox, your CSS grid and things like that. But you've taken a very different approach to this. What was your reasoning behind that? Was that a conscious decision looking at the market, or was this just always the way you wanted to develop Cwicly? Was there a kind of a master plan behind the reasoning?
Well, thank you. That's a very good question to start with. In fact, the whole reason of Cwicly is to bring, I've started, building websites, from a very early age, coding and all that, starting, with the basics. But then I discovered Webflow. And I have to say Webflow has been, the ground basis of my view on, no code development. And I think that really the thing is, when Gutenberg was announced, I think it was 2018 or so, I really saw a change in the WordPress direction, where WordPress was starting to take over, the design aspect, not just giving a content management, system, but also allowing people to start designing their pages and finally their sites. I think that's a great starting point. But the point and the features that lack are those specifics, where allowing, an intermediate user and a more advanced user who doesn't want to look after code, because in the end, if you're dealing with, quite a few websites, or you just want to start a website and you have, knowledge in coding, or you've got how things work, but don't want to manage code, because in the end, managing code is a bore. So I wanted to streamline that experience and bring, a coding environment, as Webflow does, to the visual aspect. And so for me, this was a spot that Gutenberg doesn't have, and hasn't been catering for. There are the reasons. It's because Gutenberg, before all, is to be used by everyone and anyone. And so the whole point with Cwicly is to allow users to go further in their development and really build an ecosystem, from A to Z with complete freedom, allowing them to, keep a tab on every aspect of their design, emphasizing every part, but also taking all that, trouble with maintaining code. Because even if you can create your own blocks today, I don't know, there's solutions like ACF Pro and, the following. In the end, you have to manage that code, and it's much simpler to have someone doing all the work in the background quickly and just doing, the development of your website and in the end, easing your workflow. So yes, basically filling in the gap where a user wants to take control of their design and wants to go further than the very respectable block plugins that are there and available today.
Awesome. We had a few technical difficulties there. Apparently I'd frozen, and apparently now I'm defrosted. So hopefully that will all be working okay. So yeah, always good to have technical difficulties. So it's good to see that, your different approach then, I think, is definitely separating you. I mean, with that comes obviously a more steep learning curve for the end user.
Certainly.
And I think,
yes.
yeah, and I think we can kind of liken it to, if you take a look at, I don't know if you've ever used like Generate Press and Generate Blocks. They've taken a much simpler approach, but done the same kind of path where they've given you the tools you need to be able to build your website, but they haven't just sort of bundled everything, including the kitchen sink, into it. And knowing what people, once they kind of get into using tools like that, they very quickly seem to come to the understanding that going the other way creates limitations. And I think that's I think that's the thing that kind of makes tools like Cwicly, like Generate Blocks, more exciting, because it's only down to you. Yes, you have a steeper learning curve, like I said, but I think the benefit is that you can do so much more once you understand the tools. And I think that's the strength of something like Cwicly. So yeah, I can understand why you do it. Go on, sorry.
Because I also find, and I do have this in a want, is that as with Webflow, I learned to master my coding abilities, HTML, CSS, with tools, visual tools. And I do want to keep that aspect with Cwicly, where what you're doing visually, you will be able to understand if you see it, and on the code part. And I also think that enlarges, the whole point of view of when you look at a website, you know how things work. You're not just putting blocks together that are pre-made. That's perfect for most situations, some situations. But in the end, if you want, to build an understanding of how things work, then I think that tools like Cwicly, in fact, make that path much faster for you and, enlighten you at the same time that you're using them. And so you're not only learning how to use Cwicly, in the end, you're learning how to, in certain ways, code without having, you're doing two things at once. So I do think that that's also another aspect that I wanted to emphasize when developing Cwicly. But, yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Go on.
No, but I think that the vision 1 year ago, before we launched Cwicly, was to keep it developed for intermediate, advanced users. But more and more, I'm seeing that I receive quite a few emails every day from users using Cwicly, and throughout those days, I'm seeing these are beginners that are using our designs on the library that is available with Cwicly, that we will be reworking soon. But I see that, when they get something, they've got it not just for support or helpful, but they've got it for the other things that come after, like, the simple things of nesting divs and, sections and the divs and columns. Once you get those fundamentals, things start to get easier and you start understanding. And I think the process of this year, coming up soon, of this year of development with Cwicly is we're not just going to be catering for advanced users, and that's also with the interface where we've tried to rework and bring, make both worlds meet each other. And so that's the difficulty at the same time, but trying to, guide those beginners and stopping, in fact, the middle man, the block, pre-made blocks, saying you don't need that middleman. In the end, you just need to understand the fundamentals, and then you will progress very rapidly.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I mean, if you kind of consider on a simplified level, when Flexbox and CSS Grid has kind of been embraced by different builders, whether that's Gutenberg-based builders or whether it's like the Elementor type builders, page builders, there's a learning curve there. But once you understand that, you start to understand the benefits of working with those tools, and you very quickly forget about this. It's like driving a car. When you start learning to drive, you've got to remember, if you're using, like for America, like stick shift or gears and things, you've got a clutch, you've got an accelerator, you've got a brake, your gears, you've got indicators, mirrors, and it's like, how the heck am I going to remember all of these things and look where I'm going? But now you get in a car, once you've passed the test, you've been doing it for a while, you just literally get in the car and the rest of it is just automatic. And I think that's, we need that learning curve. There's always going to be different kinds of designers, developers, whatever they kind of label themselves as. Some people want that quick, rapid prototyping using, wireframes, using pre-built blocks, like that. And then other ones that want to have complete control over exactly what they want to do with every single element that's included in the design, front end, back end, and so on. So, it's probably the same kind of argument you have where people talk about like Oxygen as a tool. There was that sort of snobbery around Oxygen where you have to be a developer to understand it and know HTML and JavaScript and CSS. But the reality is, if you know that, you can push the tool further. But you don't need to know that to be able to build sites. And I think I think that's the approach that you've taken, but with Gutenberg, as opposed to replacing everything like Oxygen has done.
Yes, definitely, and I do also think that the importance is, for example, I'll take an easy block, but it's quite important in the end. The accordion block, if you go with a pre-made solution, you're stuck with a certain layout in most cases. You're stuck with the icon on the right, text heading on the left, and then the content inside. The problem is if you want to add, a bit of styling on, if you open the accordion and you want to change the background color, you want to do things, well, then you'll instantly be stopped because the tool will not be able to cater for that. And I think more and more where users are wanting to have those possibilities. And I do think that Cwicly can cater for more, for users who are starting out with the design library that we will be reworking, where we're trying to focus on being able to import designs and layouts that are pre-made and that allow you, if you want, to change. And that's the real importance of Cwicly here, I think, is allowing people to go as far as they want or not and just use what is there by default. So basically, you're getting a predefined block experienced if you go with the design library, or if you want to go the whole hog, if I may say, then you can by going from A to Z by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to sort of hand over to a couple of questions that have been coming in as I've been monitoring this while we've been chatting. And one of the ones that is interesting that I think is, we've got from SciMage, how were you able to bundle Cwicly with ACF? It seems like a very nice new approach. And I think that was something that definitely caught my eye when you were originally on AppSumo, probably about 8 to 10 months ago, which is where I first came across Cwicly originally. And I know there's sort of questions raised was, how could you have ACF Pro? So what was the reasoning behind that? How did you kind of instrument, I can't think of a little, how did you go about including that in it? What was the sort of thought process behind it, and how did you achieve it? There we go. We will go with the word achieve.
Okay, well, I'm a very big fan of ACF. I have to say I've been using the plugin for years, and I think that everything with ACF is very well thought out, and I think the directions, are developing. We'll see where it goes, but I really do think that ACF is a complete solution when you want to, go further in your WordPress journey. So the thing is, I thought that Cwicly needed to have a deep integration with tools. Now, it's not to say that other tools such as Metabox or, other integrations will be coming soon. But I wanted to have an integration that people could trust. And so I contacted ACF because I know that this question has come along, quite a few times. I contacted ACF and said, can we bundle ACF Pro with Cwicly? And the response was, yes, please do, as long as you're not making a selling point out of it. And I think we have not made a selling point out of it. We've always just said ACF Pro is included, as just a matter of fact point. But the thing is, ACF were very happy with it. And I do understand that with the end of the lifetime deal and, the questions around the lifetime deal, because originally that is what we were working from with the lifetime deal. But ACF Pro will be included with Cwicly throughout the ACF Pro or Cwicly, life expectancy, might I say, but not lifetime deal. We will be integrating and including ACF Pro from, up until ACF Pro is no longer. But I do think that that's an important point to underline. And also, I know this has come several times also on our forum, for example, is the question of can we remove ACF from the bundling, the direct bundling inside the Cwicly plugin? And that is going to be done quite soon. We will be removing the bundling inside the same plugin file, because I can understand that sometimes you don't want to have ACF Pro installed on your installation. Some people bring in performance, questioning and all that. So also security, it's always a question of that. So we will be debundling ACF Pro from Cwicly, but it will be available for download from our website, and you will just be able to use it as before.
Awesome. And I think this kind of leads me on to one of the things that I've noticed over the last 8 to 10 months is it's always refreshing where you've got a company, developers, software developers and so on, that are actually listening to the community, where you like you say, you've got ACF Pro bundled, but not everybody wants that. Not every website needs that. So to have that automatically installed, to be able to sort of like decouple that and have that as a separate, optional download, optional install, I think is absolutely the right way to go about it. And like I say, it's just always nice when developers are actually listening to what their user base actually wants. It's not always the case, as we found out. So no, go on, please.
No, definitely. That's one very important point. I try and I have been trying to keep a very close look on everything that goes out about Cwicly, the negative, the positive, the very positive, but listening to the feedback. And I think that as I said in the intro, Cwicly has become what it is, and I hope and I can see a much bigger, a future for Cwicly, but has become what it is because of the community. There are some users on the community. I'm thinking of, Marius. I'll just, name a few. Marius, Dranza, Sunny. I'm forgetting some. Sorry, but I really want to keep that relationship with users, because in the end, what they want is what we need to give, and so. You can only go right with providing what the majority wants, but we try and provide and deliver as much as we can, as fast as we can, while keeping quality.
I think it's the right approach, because if you look at the page builder market at the moment, where you've got like Bricks, for example, where Thomas, the main developer behind that, he's very active in the community, much the same as yourself, listening to the things coming on board, comments, feedback, good, bad, negative, positive. Yes. looking at what people actually want and what makes sense to include, and not, like you say, just trying to please everybody. It's like, what falls into the vision for Cwicly in the next 24 months?
Exactly.
How does it kind of integrate into where we are now and where we want to be in that timescale? So it's great to hear that that is the case. I'm going to go back a step, though, to where you said about the decoupling of ACF Pro. And Nora's asked a question, which is, will Cwicly incorporate Metabox as it has with ACF Pro? Now, I'm kind of thinking not so much incorporate it as a bundled inclusion, but more a case of, will it offer support for things like Metabox, maybe pods or something, or are you specifically going to only focus on working with ACF Pro?
No, definitely. There was Metabox, the lifetime deal. I think that, a lot of people have gone on that, bandwagon. And so we do have to, we have to cater for it. And it is on my little, planner. So as soon as we have a moment for it, we definitely want to include it. But once again, there are some aspects of ACF that we haven't quite, perfected. I'm thinking of relationships in particular. It's a very difficult thing, to get right. And so we want to have the base for ACF and then, replicate that in the manners that the plugins themselves, like Metabox, bring together those same functions. But also, yes, definitely, it's planned.
Brilliant. That's always good to hear. Like I say, as you said, lots of people are buying into lifetime deals, with tools that are established, like, Metabox, for example. So I think it's definitely the right way to go about it, to offer that support for those. Because at the end of the day, there's not that many that are mainstream. And I think adding support opens up and makes Cwicly a more broad appeal tool to people that like what you do, but don't necessarily want to go down ACF or want to go down Metabox or something. So that's good to hear. Now, the next thing, talking about lifetime deals, because this is a question that gets asked over and over and over and over again. So I'll ask it. I've got my opinions on it. Do you think you will ever offer another lifetime deal like you did on AppSumo, but not on AppSumo?
The great question. We do receive quite a few emails every day about the lifetime deal with AppSumo. Look, there's maybe a year anniversary coming up. I don't know. Who knows?
I had to ask. I'll give you my opinion, though. Regardless of how brief you were on AppSumo, I mean, I grabbed the deal, so I'm happy. Personally, I think that was right at that time because you were relatively unknown in the marketplace, and I think AppSumo can be very good to get early adopters on board, to have an influx of potential money, but also, more importantly, is probably to have evangelists that are talking about your product when it's a good product, which is what happened with Cwicly, and probably why so many people were a little bit bummed out that they didn't get on board quick enough. But my personal opinion is that I would prefer not to see you go down the lifetime deal route. Maybe, a limited number for an anniversary or something is one thing, but I think as a business, as a viable business, you need money. You need cash coming in. You need new people coming on board, people renewing licenses and so on. And lifetime deals, repeated lifetime deals will undervalue and people will just wait for that deal.
Yes.
And I think that's...
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's a positive to start off with, but the negatives, I think, once you establish, outweigh the positives for you as a company.
Well, definitely. The thing is, the reason why our deal lasted a week, we didn't expect, there was an enormous influx of users. I can't go, into the detail, but it was enormous. We weren't expecting it. And so we preferred just cutting off after that week. I know it made a lot of people quite angry and cross and sad, but we had to cut off because, to develop, we can't be catering for, the team is quite small. We're about, 3 or 4 on, in total, or 5 in total. And so in the end, the support aspect and all that, we said to ourselves, it's better to just stop there, be able to cater for what we can and what we had planned for. And, it's definitely, a question that's come over, a lot. I do think, there might be some type of last lifetime deal, anniversary package or not. The details have to be thought about, but it's sure that we won't be repeating the lifetime deal, process again in its entirety, because once again, we want to be able to last through time and in time, and so I do think that the subscription model is the one to to go with in this instance.
Absolutely agree with you 100%. Like I say, you've got to be sustainable, and everybody likes to have a deal, and everybody likes to feel like they've got something, that they don't have to keep paying for. That's totally understandable. But at the end of the day, if you don't last, if you keep giving lifetime deals and then in 12 months' time you no longer exist, the product's useless. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, I think. Okay, so a couple more questions. We've got one here from Sun saying that you have some outdated documentation. Can you prioritize updating your documentation and make them clearer? I think this is something that makes or breaks a lot of products, especially when they become complex. The other thing that I think would potentially be useful, documentation is great, but I think video tutorials can get information over so much quicker. But I'm just going to ask that question that the Sun's just asked. Are you sort of planning on revisiting the documentation? Because your product's moving so quick, I can imagine that's already a nightmare to keep up to date.
Yes, so we did. We have reviewed the documentation. Now, I do know that it's maybe a bit too. How would I say? It's list of functions and quick explanations of what things do. But we did try to review the documentation a few months ago. But we do understand that, and more especially the bundling, the sort of bundling with FSE, full site editing in WordPress, has brought a confusion up with what is Cwicly and what is WordPress. And I do find that that's where, the lines are sort of blurred and where people are expecting us, and I completely understand, we're promoting the WordPress experience and the new site editing experience. And so we do have to fill in, a type of role there. But I think the biggest confusion comes from that. There are, a few aspects like the filter block that we introduced quite recently that does have to be documented in more detail. But we are going to come with, and it's being prepared, there's the video tutorials on one side, which we are, working towards, and they take time. They're quite difficult to put together sometimes, and they do require quite a lot of time. And so at the same time, we are working on a sort of written, explanation on how to get started with Cwicly, and the basics of every block and how to use them in a basic manner, but how to use them to their full potential, in fact. So yes, definitely, it's something that we do know needs work, and we are actively on it. Once again, we're focusing on it, so please bear with us. We're doing our best to get everything working at the same time at the same time at the same place. So
yeah, not easy at all.
No,
but it is good to see now that there are YouTube creators that are starting to create content about Cwicly, and I think that's always a good sign that a product is picking up momentum. I know David McCann's been releasing a couple of videos recently, so it's good to see David's getting on board with that. And I think that's kind of a win-win, because you get promotion and you get education. And I think that's definitely something that can help bridge those gaps between the documentation, because you can't cater, like if we go for your query builder that you released recently, you can't cater for every eventuality. You can only explain the basics, the core foundation of how the various different components work, because there are probably millions of permutations of what you can achieve with the amount of query functions you have in there. So there's always going to be a certain level of onus on the end user to look at what they're trying to achieve and then create the solution for it. I don't think you can fill every eventuality. I think that would be an impossibility. So I do think there's always going to be a little bit of a level of onus placed onto the user to understand and experiment and learn.
Definitely. Well, I think that one of the little problems, with Cwicly is that we're using and we're promoting Gutenberg. Now, it might sound funny like that, but Gutenberg has got really bad press. And, now I can't quite understand this bad press. And I think it's more so with intermediate and advanced users. I see it a lot. You can't use Gutenberg. And most of the time, these users haven't tried Gutenberg and haven't gone, further than just, trying to put a few things together. And I do think that that's also playing against Cwicly at the moment. I think that, in the next 6 months, there's going to be drastic changes in that direction. And I do think that you will be seeing page builders having to make some way of converting, having to play with Gutenberg a lot more than they are now. And I think Gutenberg is not quite there, not quite the final product that it is going to be, but it's the future. And I do think that, people have to take a closer look at it and not just stay with the Guten turd, aspect of things that, that started out a couple of years ago, and that has just stuck on its it's dragging it along, that reputation, and it can't quite get rid of it. So
you're probably right. I think that there's I don't think Gutenberg helped itself. I think that's the problem. It's been so slow in development, and I think so many foundational features have been missing and had to be augmented by tools like Cwicly, like a lot of the sort of the good quality block tools. And I don't think that's helped. I think that's been one of the biggest problems with it. Quick question. Did we get a link for the sign up for the email to win? I've got a few people have asked that, so I don't know if we've had that in the chat. If not, if you could do a hashtag Q and put that link in, I can pin that on the screen right now so we can leave that up for a little while. So if you could do that, that would be absolutely awesome. Then we can let people see the link they need to use to actually get access to potentially winning their lifetime license. See, there is a lifetime going on. See, I did say. Okay, let's take a little look. Now, the next thing that I know you're currently, or you are in the process of working on, is WooCommerce integration. Am I right on that?
Yes, definitely, yes.
So my question is the intention to give full control over all of the aspects of WooCommerce? So not just the sort of the single template and the sort of the archive template, but also like the My Account, your checkout, your cart, all the different aspects of it, which tend to get left out a little bit or not really put together in that logical fashion. They kind of focus on the single product template and the archive, and then kind of just throw the other bits and pieces together. So what kind of plans that you can tell us about, at least, do you kind of have or do you envisage with your WooCommerce integrations?
So the WooCommerce integration was planned for January of this year. And, the thing is, we stopped it and didn't release it. It was ready. The reason is because the WooCommerce team took, a sort of U-turn and said, we're going to provide blocks that are, more front-end rendered in a sense. It's the whole headless, type of, path where we're going to go, front-end rendering and allow the user and reduce performance strain on the server first of all, but also allow a much more easy way of developing on the front end directly, instead of having to rely on the PHP process and having to juggle between those different languages, which at the moment in WordPress and Gutenberg is PHP and JavaScript. So we saw that direction, and it's just been confirmed in the last few months, is where more and more of the the basic functions of WooCommerce are going to be passing through the new API REST whole store that they've put in place. And so we've taken our time and said, first of all, we've released the filter block, which allows you to create really quite complex filtering functions for your queries, and so products in the specific case of WooCommerce, where you can you can filter everything and at the same time have that level of freedom and design capabilities where with Cwicly, where you can create a filtering platform that resembles and functions the site you're building, but also the way you want to work. So we're slowly building to the WooCommerce integration. Filter block was the first step, where the filter block is a totally front-end rendering technique using a front-end rendering technology, where we're not straining the server and asking it to process 20 products at the time every time, or asking it to cache the results so that you speed things up, and in the end giving the user that experience that most I don't like to say it, but most modern e-commerce stores have to provide these days. And I think that's what we're trying to prepare with Cwicly, and that's what the WooCommerce team is doing in their way, basic blocks, but they are modernizing the platform. And so we didn't want to go with the old techniques and giving users something that's going to be look aged in a year's time. So the whole process with WooCommerce is modernizing it, giving those front-end rendering capabilities, but also giving complete freedom, so allowing the checkout experience to be completely customized. It's once again coming in WooCommerce, the basic blocks that they're providing. It's coming more and more. We will take that a step further, providing complete freedom on the specific aspects like imports, buttons, the placement of all those things, and not have them placed in a specific area or the layout in a specific way. So the checkout, the account dashboard, and how the dashboard reacts, because this is what the new API gives you freedom with, is you can literally customize the way the dashboard is. So if you don't want certain functions in one place, like your orders bundled with the other functions, you can separate all of those and create your own dashboard, your own order form, your own cart, your own quick small cart, everything there. I think that this is starting to, we're not just going to be a designing plugin, we're going to go much further than that. And the filtering block is the beginning of that, is where we're taking on the capabilities of, other plugins that are out there at the moment, and doing it our way, but also, taking it a step further.
Sounds interesting. I was watching the live stream where you were demonstrating the filtering, and that was impressively quick, comparing it to a lot of other sort of filtering tools that you see that work with WooCommerce. That was surprisingly quick. So, I mean, that does bode well for where you're going with your WooCommerce integration. And like you say, they are making a lot of changes at the moment. So it probably does make a lot more sense to wait for those to come out, to settle down, to get those bugs and those quirks and things out of the way before you then jump in. Jumping in right now would probably be a little bit counterintuitive to, the success of that aspect, and would require a lot of reworking to just get everything working when it is updated fully. So yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of people will definitely look forward to that aspect, because we do want to have more control over WooCommerce, because it is one of those tools that generally is quite limited in what you can do to customize it. So I think if you can go further than a lot of the other tools, it gives you a separation factor then to a lot of the other tools out there that just cosmetically change things, and nothing much else is being kind of changed, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, definitely. So I'm just seeing here. I don't know if the link has been shared.
I don't think it has.
No. Okay. So let me just quickly do it myself. So
So we'll get that link for you in a moment. So make sure you do hop over on that link.
I'm so sorry for that.
That's
yes.
okay. So yeah, just hop over onto that link and then put your email address in, and you will be in a chance to win one of those 2 lifetime deals that'll be on offer today. So have we got, I just got the questions at the moment. What I would suggest is if you want to also private message that to me on Facebook, then I can pop the link on there just in case it's not coming through for whatever reason. And then we'll get that out there and I'll share it, and then Carl can share it a couple of times as well as we're going through. So that would be cool. Right, I think let's have a little look at some of these questions that we have from the lovely people in tonight. Okay, so continuing on with the same aspect of dealing with WooCommerce, for example, are you going to look at integrating with a platform like SureCart, which has recently come out, or are you specifically going to focus solely on WooCommerce for the time being?
So that's a very good question, because we had Sunny, I think, who came just a few seconds ago on the forum to talk about that. And yes, there were a few little quirks with the blocks, not all the blocks appearing inside. So we are going to be working towards, a better integration and, providing access to that. But I see once again that, it's now we're past the time of the. So I think we'll just go with the way you said, Paul. We'll just select, 2 users. 2 users at the end of the live, that randomly, and we'll go that way, because it seems that the link wasn't shared before. So I'm terribly sorry for that. We'll just,
we'll pick 2 random people tonight. So we'll do that towards the end of the stream. So we're going to go for another 5 or so minutes and see if we can answer a couple of questions, because there's quite a lot coming in, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick 2 lovely people to actually win that tonight. Okay, bear with me one second. I'm just going to take a look for the questions. Okay, let's have a little look what questions we've got here tonight. Let's have a little look. Lots of ones asking where the link is. So let me get past those ones. Right. Okay, so Robert's asked this question. What kind of support will Cwicly provide for third-party development? So in other words, Robert has a plugin that he's developed. So I'm assuming he's probably asking from his point of view, how could he potentially integrate into Cwicly? Is that something you're looking to open up an API that will be accessible, or are you preferring to kind of keep everything just Cwicly only to remove the potential for problems that you have from third-party tools being developed?
Well, Robert, I'd love to hear what you would want to see available with Cwicly, because for the moment we haven't had too many. We've had a few developers come to us and specify what they want to have access to, and when they do, we just provide it, because most of it, well, quite a few of the Cwicly functions are already available through the data storing features of Gutenberg. And we're trying to stay within the Gutenberg stores and trying to stay in complete compatibility with them, so that we don't go out from that aspect too much. But please, I'd love to hear what you would want to expect from Cwicly, and how we can make different plugins work with Cwicly. So that's definitely something we're very open to, is providing access to different features with Cwicly. But once again, I'm very interested in knowing which features that Cwicly provides would be interested for other developers and plugins. But once again, this is the power. Just 2 seconds. This is the power of Gutenberg, is that we're not a page builder, and I think that this was also one of the main points of me developing Cwicly, is that Cwicly is quite a big ecosystem within Gutenberg, but it is a plugin for Gutenberg, and so it can live, with other plugins at the same time, and you don't have to develop specifically for Cwicly. It's the Gutenberg, ecosystem that takes over in the end.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Another one we've got is from Joe, saying, are you also the developer on Cwicly or more of a CEO product manager? So what's your role?
I'm a control freak.
No. Me too.
No, well, a lot of us are. I do think that, I am the lead developer. We do have one or two other developers that come in from time to time to help with, when things are quite, there's quite a lot to process and do. But most of the time it is me working on the development aspect of things with Cwicly. So yes, I try to juggle everything, and I do like keeping an eye on most aspects of Cwicly. So, I have wonderful help from, the whole team, but I am the lead developer of Cwicly, yes.
And the control freak.
And well, you have to have one.
You do.
There are quite a few in the team, so sometimes it's
fireworks.
Oh yes.
Okay, so there's another one, because this is one of those things that I know people get frustrated with. If you buy a single license for a product, do you have the ability to be able to use a local development and a live site at the same time with the single license? Is that possible, or is it kind of restricted to specific types of domains like .local or something like that?
Yes, so yes, it is restricted to local, sites who have dev or in the URL. But every time, and if a user is on a local or development environment or domain, we will do our best. We have added quite a few development domains to the list, so we can whitelist them very easily. So just an email to support, and that's support@cwicly.com, and we add the domains that people work on and don't want to have added to their license count.
Awesome, thank you. Next one we've got is, can I convert core block content into Cwicly blocks? Is this something that's possible inside Cwicly?
So currently, yes, you can take headings, you can take paragraphs, you can take lists. You can, not so sure about the group block. It's something we're working towards. And also, once again, this joins the an aspect I think some users, bring it up a bit, is the aspect of being locked in. Currently with Cwicly, when you use specific blocks with Cwicly, they are specific to Cwicly, but we are working towards a solution where you can convert either way, Gutenberg to Cwicly, or vice versa, Cwicly to Gutenberg, because we do, once again, Cwicly is a tool, but for whatever reason, if you want to go back to Gutenberg or switch between those, we are working towards providing a solution where you can just easily switch from either in one click. So it's a very important point, but yes, we try to make both of those environments speak together, or blocks.
Okay, brilliant. I'm going to have one more question, and then we're going to take a look at who's going to win those lifetime deals tonight. So Andrew Downey is asking, will there be a range of Cwicly website templates for clients to choose from? Now, I know you have templates already included, and you've said you are going to be either reworking or expanding what is there already. So, I think you've already answered that, but do you have plans for creating full sets of designs, so you've got all the key pages for the design? What kind of plans do you have for that expansion of what you currently offer with the template inside of things?
So yes, the design library is a very important aspect of Cwicly. There will be, it's going to become a very important aspect where we're going to go cloud-based, where, users can just upload their templates, designs, whatever they are working on, and be able to use and juggle between different installations, easily. But also provide one-click templates where you click on them and it sets out the whole, because there is difficulty there too, the full site editing aspects, where with one click you will have your single post, your archive, your index page, your front page all set up so that you can get working quickly. Excuse that. You can get working quite fast without any trouble, and without having to figure out all the details. And also just if you have, your specific, I'm thinking of wireframes or what have you, just, have them in your cloud account. You can either share them publicly or not, and, use those as you want, and, efficiently. That's the most important, is awesome. Providing a workflow that works, wherever and fast, and,
Yeah, I definitely think that's the key, is make it as easy as possible and one simple centralized location. Okay, so unfortunately the link didn't get posted for the giveaway, so we're still going to do the giveaway. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to quickly just spin through the comments, and I'm going to stop on one, and that will be the one that I will suggest. So as providing you're still in the live stream tonight, you'll get access. And while I'm doing that, if you want to, Louis, you want to take a look at who you would like to give one of the licenses to. Again, whatever method you want, whether you like a particular question or you want to just do a random, quick click through the comments, whatever you want to do. Are you okay with that?
Can I let you choose both? And after, everybody will be happy, because, Paul, you're the man, and so you're the.
Right there. Okay. Thanks. No pressure. Control freak comes out again. Look. Okay. I am literally just going to spin through the comments, and whatever I land on is going to be the person that's going to get that first lifetime deal. So I'm now going to look. Would you believe it? Kyle Van Dusen. Oh. So is Kyle still in? Quite ironic, the one that I actually clicked on was Kyle, and it actually comes up with giveaway ended. It's not even a question. So Kyle, if you are still in the live stream tonight, you can just put a comment underneath, just put #winner, and I will look at that. If you're not here, we'll redo it and we'll pick someone else. So Kyle, you are potentially the first winner. So I'm going to just do the same thing again. So I'm looking away from my comments, looking away. Okay, so we've got... This irony. So we've got Thomas. So again, if you are still in the chat tonight, if you're still on the live stream, if you can just put #winner, then you two potentially are winning those lifetime deals. So how can they actually reach out to you to get those lifetime deals? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you, providing they're still here?
Well, if you send me an email at louis@cwicly.com, so louis@cwicly.com, I have your name, so if you just send a mail, we'll set everything up and have them off as soon as we receive the mail. Okie
dokie. So that's louis@cwicly.com. So I see everybody putting their nice try putting #winner for everybody else in there that didn't actually get picked out. So good try. Oh, we got a thumbs down already. Oh, some people are so hard to please, I tell you. Okay, so we've got Thomas. I know you're the winner. I'm going to star you. But if Kyle doesn't actually come back and answer this in the next 2 or 3 minutes, then we're going to do another one. So while we're waiting for Kyle to decide what to do, then I'm going to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your evening to join in tonight, to get involved, to talk about Cwicly, to explain and answer questions for the people that have actually been involved in tonight's live stream. So that's absolutely fantastic. Or Kyle actually is here, so Kyle's also a winner. So finally, for anybody that wasn't here at the beginning, how can people find out a little bit more about Cwicly? How can they get in touch with you if they have any questions? I'll just pass it over to you for closing up, and then we'll go from there. So over to you.
Thanks, Paul. Well, thank you very much, Paul, and thank you everyone who's been here tonight. I will be reviewing your questions if we missed some. So I will be writing them down and, maybe making a small post on our forum. So that's discourse.cwicly.com, where I will go through, the questions and reply to them, because I saw quite a few interesting ones. So please check that out if you aren't already a part of the community. Once again, cwicly.com, that's our website. a fun name, something that you pronounce and say every day quite a few times quickly. So I hope that that stays in your head quite a few, when you say Cwicly, do think of us. So Cwicly.com, a new take on the building websites with WordPress, and a plugin that is completely integrated in the WordPress environment. And I do think that's important to note. Yes, you have page builders that are there today, but once again, WordPress is building the future of its own, an own environment. And so why duplicate functions when, I'm sorry to say, but I think that WordPress in the coming months and maybe year will have made one of the best page builders because it knows how to do it. It's taking time and it's slowly getting there, but it is definitely getting somewhere, and that's very exciting. So please check out Cwicly.com, also our forum at discourse.cwicly.com, and thank you very much once again for being here tonight. It means a lot to me, and I'm very excited for all of that. Thank you, Paul, and I bid you good night.
Thank you very much for being involved. Okay, so Kyle, if you want to reach out to Louis at Cwicly.com, and Thomas, if you want to do the same thing, and also Thomas, if you want to reach out to me just to make sure, if you send me an email at info@wptuts.co.uk, that's info@wptuts.co.uk, I can make sure if there's any problems that we'll get the information over to Louis so you can get your lifetime deal. So let me just say thank you very much to everybody for being involved in tonight's live stream, for your questions, for your involvement, for just being in the chat in general, and also to Louis for taking the time out of his day to be involved, answer your questions, and to be generous to give away those 2 lifetime deals. As always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you all in a couple of days' time, and possibly next week for another live stream with another guest on, but more about that later. Take care, look after yourself, and I shall see you all very, very soon.